I'll just like to take a little hold over here, and I wish to explain this in another way. You have 5 senses of knowledge. You have 5 senses of action. How many? 10. How many? 10. Now these are constituent of which body? Subtle body. And know this subtle body is not you. Hence these 10 organs are not you. Know this, you are not this gross body. 50, 60, 80 years ago, this body was not there. And in few years, this body will go into death. It will go into the unmanifested. How unmanifested? Well, in the Hindu, Sikh, Jaina, Buddha, the Buddhist, whenever anybody dies, what we do? We burn them in a funeral pyre. So in a few hours, the body is into ashes, right? Person might be of 80, 90 kilograms, and then the ashes might be of just maybe 1 kilogram. Where did the rest of the stuff go? Burned. Vaporized. So on the next day, as it is customary in India, the whatever remains small bones pieces are collected by the family, and they will go to Haridwar and put it in the Ganga after doing some ritualistic worship. Some Sikhs do it in the river in Punjab itself. Most of the Hindus like to do it either in Ganga, but some also do it in Kaveri, and some also do it in Yamuna too. But ideally speaking, they prefer either Kaveri or Godavari, and in north it is Ganga, so they'll take the... Now once you have poured those ashes into the Ganga, the ashes have become one with the Ganga, the water of the Ganga, and the Ganga is flowing in the plains. And then the farmers make canals. They use the Ganga water to water their farmlands. So that bones and the ashes will end up in some farmland where sugarcane is growing, or wheat is growing, or rice is growing, or vegetables are growing, or fruits are growing. So that gross body has now become one with the water, and the water has gone into those plants or crops. And when these crops will mature, fruits will ripen, vegetables are ready, those will be plucked, comes to the market, people will buy, bring it home, cook and eat. That dead body, manifested body, when burnt, became into smaller parts, went into the water. Then you can't say, where is your maternal, your mom or your dad whom ashes you have immersed? Can you find out? Because the Ganga's water is rushing. And then that water went into the farmlands. So you can say your daddy is now growing in a sugarcane, as a sugarcane, or as a wheat, or as an apple, or as a mango, or a lychee, or something. The form has changed. The form has changed. It became subtler and subtler and subtler, and then changed into the crop. And then that crop was eaten. Now every crop has one thing which we call the rasa. Every vegetable, fruit, has one thing which we call the nectar, the rasa of that fruit or vegetable or wheat or rice or whatsoever. So when you consume that, that rasa is absorbed in your body. And then you say, this is me. Is this me or is it wheat and rice and water of Ganga? See, beautiful interfusion of the elements is happening. When you say this grass body is me, this is the biggest stupidity or a jnana or an ignorant statement to say this, I am this body. You are not. This body got formed, grew, matured, weathered, then died, then turned into ashes. But you are one who existed much before this grass body was created, manifested. So body got a birth and the body got the death. It's not me. Hence I can say, me, the Atma, is neither born nor will die. But who will die? Who will die? Body. And who will not die? Remember this. Who will die? The body. And who will not die? It's you. Don't say Atma. Because the moment sometimes Atma, something called Atma is living in us. No. It's you. When you combine this self with the body, meaning the self plus body, and you create a new I, this new I is the unreal self. I am born, I'll die. When you say this, you have brought the gross body into yourself. And you are confusing the body as me. Body is a baby, then body is a teenager, then body is matured, then body is old. But you can convincingly say, you are neither the baby, nor the teenager, nor the matured, middle-aged, nor the old. Okay. And you can also say, I'm neither man, nor a woman, nor in between. Transvites, transgenders, Who are you? I met a girl in Washington. She was saying that her professor is a transvite. So someday when we go, is a woman, dressed like a woman, and someday we go, is dressed like a man. So we don't know whether to address he or she, ma'am or sir. That's why I'm saying man, woman, or transvite. One time a gentleman said to my disciple, a male disciple, that in our ashram, a woman cannot sit on the Vyasa seat, the Guru Gaddi, to speak or to lecture. Because our Gurudev was a celibate, was a brahmachari, hence on his seat no women can sit. So it was a great, issue. Because my disciples wanted me to go and address, and that venue was chosen. And those people were saying, well, she cannot come because she's she. I said, I don't mind. If they don't like, I won't go. But I have a question. Please get the answer. If their guru was a Vedantist, How come he was so much obsessed with the he and the she? Because the very first step of Vedanta says, I am not body. This means I am neither man nor woman, nor otherwise. So from where does this question of he or she arise? Why the mind is still so obsessed about the genitals, the gender, the body? Unfortunately, the Guru was not alive. Otherwise, I would have sent him an invite to come and get some jnana, some knowledge. He definitely needed that. It's very different to repeat the Vedantic Sanskrit shlokas and remember and memorize all that. And it's a very different thing to experience and encounter the reality of self. Two different things. I am not gross body. I am different from gross body. Say this, please. I am not the senses of knowledge, and I am different from the sense of knowledge, the Gyanindri. I am not the Karamindri, the sense of action, and I am different from the senses of action. Moving on. Prana, the 5 vital energy forces. Pran, Udan, Vayan, Saman, and Apan. If you see this diagram, it will give you some idea about how this pranic energy functions in the body. The prana, if you see, is the arrow is moving upward, right? In the Udana, the arrow is moving again upward. The Vayana is like circulating in the whole body. The Samana is in the center of the body. And Apana is moving downward. So Prana and Udana upward. Vayana is circulating in whole body. Samana in the center. And Apana is the downward motion. Now let's move on to the next slide, the 5 pranas. The pranavayu, what's the location of the pranavayu? That's heart. What's the function responsible for breath inhalation and exhalation around the clock? See, you sleep. The sleep happens. But breathing is involuntary action. It is an involuntary action. That means the prana knows how to function. It is not using your advices. If it had been on your advice, you would be dead much before your actual time. Because you would have forget to breathe in or to expire. So the prana functions on its own. Location is heart. Apana vayu, the seat is anus. Function is carries out the excretion of urine and feces from the body. Now, it's not only urine and feces, let me say. When a mother delivers the baby, it is a function of the apana vayu. If mother's apana vayu is not functioning properly, then she will have difficulty in delivering the baby. There might be the breech baby, the upside down, the baby moves the position, or the baby isn't moving downward. Now that is happening because of the ill functioning of the apana vayu. When somebody's apana vayu get vitiated, then they will have trouble in urinating and also in excreting. Now, normally if somebody has problem like they can't urinate or they can't excrete, allopathy will work on symptomatic release and give the peristaltic movement for the urine or feces to go out by pushing in some chemicals. But yoga says, and Ayurveda says, correct your functioning of the Apana Vayu. So, when you do proper asanas, like Ashwasanchalan, like Halasana, like Mandukasana, like Janushirsasana, like Paschima Uttanasana, like Trikonasana, like Parshva Trikonasana, you are twisting your intestines. So all the twisting poses will keep your peristalsis movement happening correctly, because the asanas will have a great impact on your Apana Vayu. So you don't need magnesium sulfate or chemicals to induce bowel movement. You don't need medicines which help you to urinate. Yoga says correct your Apana Vayu. So a yogi works on Apana Vayu through asana, through pranayama. And Ayurveda will help on the physical aspect of the functioning. If there is some blockage, if there is some inflammation, then they'll use the herbs to cure the inflammation or remove the obstruction, so that you can have a free-flowing urine. You know, it's not a small thing that you can urinate. It's a very big thing. Ask those people who have a swollen prostate gland. Ask those people who have some kind of obstruction in their bladder or ureter. Oh, it's such a painful thing, they can't urinate. Those who have fissures, those who have piles, so difficult for them, to have that bowel. It's very painful for them. All these diseases occur because the Apana Vayu is vitiated. Samana Vayu, location is umbilicus, assimilates all nutrients from the food and through the channel of the nadis. Nadi doesn't mean nerve, nadi means the flowing energy. You eat food. See, this is so beautiful. No? I wish maybe tomorrow I will use some maps and some body maps where you can see the food goes in through the mouth, through the food pipe, ends into your stomach. Then it moves, the food is churned in the stomach, then it moves to the small intestine, then the liver and the gallbladder are doing the function, releasing the biles, and then it moves further. All the assimilation of the nutrients happen in the small intestine, not in stomach. Once this assimilation has happened properly, then it is pushed towards the large intestine, the colon. Now, if your small intestine is not functioning properly, or should I say, if the Saman Vayu is not functioning properly, then you may eat the best of the foods, and yet you will lack nutrition. How many people in States, Canada, world over, even in India, are buying very expensive supplements? Very expensive supplement. They have supplement for everything. Oh, my magnesium is low. My iron is low. My calcium is low. So I eat this, eat that. All expensive stuff. Why can't you absorb all the nutrients from the food. Well, you were eating good. Maybe you were not eating good. Okay, let me give you an example. If you are low on calcium, then have sesame oil spoonful, empty stomach. If you are low on iron, then eat roasted gram with a piece of jaggery. Your hemoglobin will be so good. I have a 74-year-old woman, her blood work was done, and she has hemoglobin of 14.8. She's 74, 14.8. Many women have improved their hemoglobin by taking this advice. That's a roasted black gram, kala chana, with the piece of jaggery every day. A small bowl is enough. And you will have no deficiency of iron. You will have no deficiency of RBCs in your blood, in your system. Huh? So, if you eat good, but if your samana vayu is not functioning properly, you will be still lacking nutrients in your body. And supplements are expensive. So all of you have to be very smart. Improve your samana vayu. How? By doing Kapalbhati pranayam. See how they are interrelated, the Ayurveda, the pranayam, the asana and your food. So if you do Kapalbhati pranayam or Agnisara pranayam, then whatever you will eat, your body will absorb it well. You will not lack in nutrients. Moving on, Udana Vayu, seat is throat. What does it do? Separates the ingested food and water and responsible for hiccups and dreams. Hiccups and dreams. Now, how the dreams are happening is an altogether a very different subject. This is not my subject for today. But still, just giving you a hint that you might learn so much, but yet there is so much more to learn. Don't be in a rush to call yourself an all-knowledgeable Jnani. Wait. Wait. Very passively. Patiently. Wait. Keep learning. Next prana is Vayan Vayu. That's its present is in entire body, and it regulates and controls all movements of limbs and joints in the body. Now this means, if your Vayan Vayu gets vitiated for one or another reason, you will have troubles of joints. If your Vayan Vayu is not functioning properly, then you will have very stiff joints and you will have trouble in moving your limbs. And if I go little deeper, then I would say, when the Prana Vayu and Vayan Vayu both get vitiated, maybe this will become a reason for many autoimmune disorders in the body. Like arthritis, like rheumatoid arthritis. Like if your Samana Vayu gets vitiated along with Apana Vayu, then you will have many diseases like Crohn, like IBS. If you have trouble of your Prana Vayu and Udana Vayu, now see, these are very physical things happening in the body, but if they are not functioning properly, then you can have mind issues, the psychosomatic diseases of anxiety, depression, frustration. And if Udana Vayu gets too much vitiated, then one can end up in a mental asylum also. Now, see, this is, am I talking about something foreign? Or am I talking about your subtle body? so important. So prana, apana, saman, udan and vayan, these are the 5 subtypes of the prana, which is part of your subtle body. Now, how many we have counted up till now? 5 senses of knowledge, then 5 senses of action, then 5 prana. These are all constituent of your subtle body. Next we take the antakarana. Antakarana. The sattva-gun part of the 5 great elements makes up the antakarana. From where is it made? From the sattva-guna part of the 5 great elements. Pancha, meaning 5, Mahatattva, the great elements. The 4 units are mind, intellect, subconscious mind, and ego. The subconscious mind and the ego are extension of the mind and intellect respectively. Like let me explain it like this. You have a home, and then as in Canada and US, it's very common to have a basement. Basement is not seen, it's not visible. If a guest comes, the guest will see the drawing room, the bedroom, the kitchen, but they don't walk down to the basement, right? So the basement is the unseen part of the house, and the drawing room is the very visible part of the house. So mind is the very visible part of antakarana, and the subconscious is like the unseen part of the mind only. It's not that the mind is separate totally from the subconscious. The man and chitta are actually one, but mind is like the drawing room which you can see, but chitta is like the basement which you can't see. Similarly, the intellect, the buddhi, is what you see, but the ahankara is something which is not visible directly. Okay? So man, mind, chitta, subconscious. So sometimes when we are doing the counting, sometimes we'll just say mind and intellect. But sometimes we'll go into more detail, then we'll say mind, intellect, subconscious and So, what day is good for you? You can use that many. You can either say 2, the 2 parts of the antakarana, or the 4. 4 is the more detailing, right? Now, when you say, I have a mind, but did you really mind the mind? Did you really pay attention to the mind? Now, this mind and this intellect. So if the mind and intellect is not functioning, then can your senses of organ function? Can your organs of knowledge function? See, first the thought comes in the mind. I want to see that film. Then the feet walk. Sit in the body. The mind is making the feet walk and make it sit in the car and drive the car and go to the cinema hall, then pay the money, buy the ticket, then go into the hall and take the seat, and the eyes now will have the enjoyment of watching the whole beautiful movie. Where did this whole thing started? In feet? Because feet walked. In the eyes saw the movie. Is it the ear who are the culprit? They enjoyed the beautiful music, the Hindi cinema. Or the hands who ate the popcorns, or the mouth, who is the culprit? Mind. Now, is it mind or is it subconscious? There is a one actor you love, there is one actress you love, there is a film director you love, and all the information is where? In your chitta, in your subconscious. Then you see, the posters are out, the billboards are out, and it's flashing, new film coming, and they gave you very good reminder on radio, on TV, on here and there, and newspaper. This film is coming, this film, my favorite stars movie is coming. I have to see the movie. Idea is perpetrated by your subconscious to your conscious mind. And then your intellect decides which day is a good day to go, which show is a good day to go, and who is the right person with whom I should see the show. One father said to his son, dear son, I'm talking 20 years ago in India. The father said to the son, son, in the city theater, a movie is coming, and I'm warning you, do not go to watch that movie. That's an adult, that's a bad movie. I am saying this very clear instruction. Do not go to that cinema. You can watch any movie, but not in that cinema hall. Son said, okay, Dad, not an issue. But when you say something like this, the mind gets more intrigued. Okay, let me check. Why is father saying, no, don't go? So, one day he decides to go with his friends, he buys the ticket, goes into the hall. He was a bit late, so it was dark. So he's fumbling and finally reaching his seat. He took the seat. And this was a pornographic movie. And his eyes were wide open. And he's enjoying everything. And a moment came of great excitement. And I just looked at the left side. Voila, his father was sitting there. He said, Dad! Dad was equally surprised. He said, Dad, you were saying don't go and watch that movie. You yourself are sitting here. He said, no. I thought, let me check. Everybody's saying it's bad. So I just came to check it's bad or not bad. But why did you come here? Mind has urges. Mind has desires. Mind has illegal desires. Unethical, immoral desires. Your intellect is like the warden. It stops you from doing stuff. But sometimes the mind gets really bully. And it doesn't listen to the intellect. And it says, no, we do this. Teenage is the time when everybody is a rebel. Whatsoever parents will say, they say, no, don't do this. Children say, now we will do it. One father was very angry with his son. He said, why did you do this? Why did you do this? The son shot back and he said, Father, when you were a teenager, didn't you do the same? I have heard all your nasty stories from grandfathers. Don't you dare to say that you didn't do all the stuff. It's my age to do it. You did it. Grandfather did it. Now I will do it. Mind is the seat of your good and bad desires. Mind is the seat of all your attractions and hatreds, aspirations and hopes, dreams and thoughts. What you want, what you need, is there as a deep impression sitting in the subconscious. When this becomes active, then it comes into your mind. So, this mind, intellect, subconscious mind and ego. Mano, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. My dear friend, you are not this. Neither mind, nor intellect, nor ego, nor the subconscious. Mind might have good or bad thoughts, but that's happening in the mind. So if mind is having bad thought, it doesn't make you bad. Mind has good thought, doesn't make you good. Now here comes the understanding which you need to derive from this is that I am not mind, I am separate from mind. So even if your mind is demonic, or your mind is sattvic, or your mind is rajasic, that is the status of the mind, not you. I'm not mind, I'm separate from mind. Are you with me? Are you getting it? I am not. I am not the subconscious, and I am separate from the subconscious mind. Now say it, I am not intellect. Now intellect is something which makes determined choices. But one thing is to be understood. When mind is foggy, it doesn't allow the intellect to function at all. People buy alcohol, liquor. At least in India, there is this huge signage. Drinking is injurious to the health. People still buy. Right? Then government thought, let's scare them more. So then they placed a photo of a person who has like a liver cirrhosis or has problem of maybe cancer. So they have placed this human skull to show dangerous, not good for health. So now people are not buying liquor. They are. Actually, somebody was telling me that a person went to a smoke shop and he asked the seller, give me the cigarette pack. The shopkeeper gave him the pack. He said, no, not this one. The one which says it will give you cancer. I need that one because that was the stronger one. And it's a new advisory which has come from the government. He said, no, not this one. Give me that one which has that picture on it. So, can we say they have some intellect functioning? Huh? The mind has taken over. The mind has taken over, and the mind is lustful, greedy, angry, and always looking for pleasure. So hence, the men end up with a prostitute. Sometimes people say, prostitution is bad, it should be banned, and this and that. Every city has a red light area. Now the red light area is not even required because from the social media or from the dating sites or from these whatever, apps and sites, people can order at home. The deliveries are happening now at home. I wonder, the society which criticizes prostitute pardons the men who go to the prostitute. If there were no customers, what would that prostitute sell? To whom? If prostitution is bad, then so are those men who are buying that. Or maybe even women who are buying those male prostitutes. Liquor is bad, says the government, says the doctor. Nobody listens. Tobacco is bad. Smoking is bad. Doctors are saying, advisory of governments are there, yet people are buying the cigarettes. Last almost 10 years or so, now in foreign we have these people who are holding e-cigarettes, smokeless cigarettes. Young teenagers are having those pipes in their hand. It's a smokeless cigarette, and they are smoking, and they say, it's a very mild one. It's very good. They end up sometimes sharing that cigarette with one another. So all the bad bacteria in their mouths are getting shared with one another. And say if somebody has an STD, and they are sharing the cigarettes and the pipes and the hookah pipes and whatnot. But who cares about life when you can have a great puff and feel good? And I'm not worried, not scared about getting sick. It's okay. Fun is important. Pleasure is important. So the mind which is filled with quick fix, the mind which is filled with the urge to pleasure itself by moral, immoral, legal, illegal stuff, by drugs or whatnot, can we say that their intellect is functioning? Can we say they are using their intelligence now? Sometimes they are engineers and doctors and chartered accountants and CPA and scientists themselves, and yet they love all this stuff. Well, they say, it's my body, my freedom. Who are you to object? Well, I don't. Because when you don't feel like using your intelligence or the life in a proper way, then who am I to say anything? I don't mind. When you don't mind, why should I mind? So mind, intellect, subconscious and ego, these are the four faculties of antahkarana. Anta means which is inside. Karana means which is a medium to function and interact with the external world. So now, let's count. How many constituent of your subtle body? 5 sense of knowledge. 5 pranas. And 4 antahkarana. How many in total? Yeah. So these 19 constituents make your subtle body. So we have gross body, we have subtle body, and I have just given a broader outline of the subtle body. And tomorrow we will go deeper into this whole thing. Just one request, and that is, please ask question about what I have spoken today. Don't go left and right. Don't go off the subject. Just stick to the subject, what I have talked about. And I'll answer as per my capacity and strength and ability. I'll do that very lovingly. So, the subtle body has 19 constituents. And I am Atma, the real self, is not these 19 constituents. I am neither mind, nor the intellect, nor the subconscious, nor the ego. This subtle body is just like, if somebody is wearing, say, 3 layers of clothing. One is the t-shirt and the pant outside. And on the top, they are wearing a coat. It's a coat. Then the second layer is a t-shirt and a pant. And the inner third layer is of their undies. Right? Now you can see the coat. It's a long coat, not a short coat. It's a long coat. Somebody brought me a coat from Russia one time. It is a long coat going all the way to my ankles. So if I wear that coat, you will not know what color sari I am wearing. Such a beautiful coat, very long. So your gross body is like that. Long coat, very visible. But then there is a second layer of clothing. That is your subtle body. Is not visible. Is not. And then there is a third body, that is causal body, absolutely beyond your senses and beyond your antakaran. Okay? See how beautifully these whole categories have been presented. And let me say, I am giving a very, very broader outlook to all these things. We will go into further details and depth tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Mam Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.